Hello you guys, and welcome back to my channel. It is Kiera, your Gaps and Gorgeous Queen child. And listen, I know it's been a minute since I have been on here. My life has been just constantly changing, constantly evolving. New doors opening, some doors closing, you know, new titles, new responsibilities, new outlooks, new perspectives. And let's talk about that, because that is what this video is about today. It is about perspectives and about respecting that there is a such thing as perspectives and that they can be different for any person that you come across. So let's get right into it. You know, I really wanted to get into this conversation because, you know, as we get older, a lot of what we think changes, right? We have different experiences. We have sometimes bad experiences, sometimes good experiences if you classify them as such. But our lives change. And when your life changes, that means that you grasp new concepts and then you judge things based on your own experiences. That could be something that's totally different from what your experience or your perspective was 2 years ago, 10 years ago, even yesterday, right? So this conversation has been coming up a lot. I have been even training and teaching on the idea of different perspectives. And so I just really want to touch on this because it's just been showing up so much in my life. First off, I think that the biggest thing in life is to understand that you and another person will not think the same about everything. You may have a lot of things in common with somebody. You may share the same ideas, have the same religion, have the same political background, you know, things like that. Think the same way about love and marriage, friendships, whatever it may be. You may share those kind of ideas together, but there may be some things, some deeper things that are a lot more under the surface, that you just figure out that, hey, we don't think the same on this. There's just been a lot of talk about sexuality and gender. There's a lot going on in the world about religion right now, and we do not all share the same ideas. And I think that the problem is we expect that people will have the same perspective or idea as us, and our levels of understanding are so different based on where we've come from. I really hate the fact that a lot of times we cannot see past that. If you have a conversation with someone and you both have clashing perspectives and you don't acknowledge or respect the fact that, hey, you think this way and I think this way, it's fine though. No one is right, no one is wrong. I really hate the fact that we can't get past that part. We don't understand that because we have different perspectives or ideas that we just can't move past it. We can move past that. You have to understand that you are not going to think what I think, right? You can't. You don't have my brain. You don't have the same experiences I had. And sometimes even if you do have the same experience as someone, that does not mean that you will process them the same. For example, there are a lot of women in this world who grew up without fathers. Some of those girls don't trust men at all. Some of those girls trust men too much, right? They want to try to find what they were missing from their father. You just never know how they interpret their trauma and what makes them think the way that they do. We're all different chemically. We're all different mentally. So a lot of what we've gone through shapes the way that we feel about a lot of things. It really becomes an issue when you are having a conversation with someone that you do not share the same idea as or perspective as. It turns into a heated argument, or it gets way more serious than it needs to be because one party does not understand, or maybe both of you do not understand and accept that, hey, we just don't see things the same way right now. We just don't see things the same. This is especially true when you are dating somebody. It's really hard in the dating world because there are so many opinions out there in the world. Child, you get on TikTok, there are 500 million thousands of ideas and opinions of people just easily saying how they feel. So if you're just scrolling on through, you're receiving all of that information and you're making a judgment about every single thing that comes onto the screen. Do I agree with this? Do I not agree with this? Can I understand this? Well, let me do a little bit more research. Let me do this. Let me do that. You're pulled in a million different directions. I think that the biggest thing though is that when you are dating and you have all these different ideas, you meet someone to see if they fit the idea that you have for a mate. I'm gonna say that again in a different way. You date people to see if they fit the description that you have for who is a perfect person to date for you, right? Again, that looks different for everybody. The man of my dreams does not look like the man of Keisha dreams, right? So as you're dating and you're meeting all these people and you are learning who they are and how they think and what their moral values are, what their religion is, how spiritual they are or are not, what they think about today's current events, it is then that you decide who they really are, right? It's kind of like a fuzzy picture. You don't know anything about this person until you start to wipe away all of the things that are clouding your true vision of what this person is. That image might be a great image for somebody else, but when you start to uncover all of what that person may be, it is then that you can make your choice. Okay, this is not the person that I thought it was, or this is not the person that will work out for me romantically. Now, we might be able to be friends, because being friends, there's different standards to being a friend than it is to being a romantic partner, right? It's hard to respect other people's perspectives these days because people are so used to giving their opinions constantly that they neglect to understand and value other people's perspectives, because sometimes you can truly learn from someone else's perspective. It is not a bad thing to say, you know what, I don't really agree, but what you're saying, I will spend some time and try to figure out or research what this is that you're talking about. Maybe I'll gain more knowledge. You can think what you want to think all day long, and you can sit with me and have a conversation with me about your perspective all day long, but you have to be respectful when you're doing it, because some people will try to throw their perspective on you and be so nasty and rude about it and just get off the chain with their perspective. Now you've turned this into an argument. There's no opportunity for me to even gain or learn from what you're trying to say, because now you've changed the energy in the room. A lot of people confuse passion with anger. They say, well, no, I talk like this because I'm passionate about it. That's not passion. At some point, you have to distinguish between what is passion and what is anger. When you are passionate about something, you speak from a loving place, right? You're not going to see my anger first. You cannot communicate your perspective from a place of anger, because at that point, you lose the ability to truly affect the person that you're talking to. And I think that that comes with just growing up and learning that, hey, if I love and respect a person or care about somebody, or I really care about what I'm talking about even, I want it to be heard. And if I want it to be heard, I know that the way I say it and the tone in which I say it is important. You have to ask yourself, am I in this situation and I'm arguing or stating my case because I'm trying to prove someone wrong? Because if you are trying to prove someone wrong, you're not trying to defend your perspective with passion. You are having an argument. Sometimes we do have to shape and mold the way that we talk to people based on that idea that, hey, they may not understand where I'm coming from. Let me try to reword it. Perspective is important. Perspective is valuable regardless of where it's coming from. It's valuable because even if what they're saying is just absurd to you, it's valuable for you to know who you're dealing with, who you're talking to, because in the future you'll know how to deal with that person or not deal with that person, right? There are some perspectives out there that get people killed. There are some perspectives out there that ruin marriages or ruin friendships. We have, people who sit in high places that have perspective. When they are tainted perspectives, it affects a whole people, not just the people around them. So perspective is very important. If you discover that you are arguing from a place of anger, then, it's just time to grow up. It's time to figure out a better way to communicate, your stance. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about this conversation. Have you ever had a conversation where your two perspectives are clashing and it turns into something more? Like, comment, and subscribe, y'all. And make sure that you turn on your notification bell as well.